Kane, it's 1-0. We're fucking down. 13th in the championship. The takeover happened as I said it would. People will be. Oh, when have we got Leeds? Now then, people, and welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show. And good evening, and welcome to another instalment of the Late Night Leeds. Yeah, I've had my son tonight, got him to bed, jumped on a 12-man podcast stream, was about to play some FIFA, and I thought, do you know what? Let's get the band back together. Let's talk about Leeds United. Let's talk about some transfers. It's been quite a busy day. I've got Lockie with me. Ben, how are you doing, mate? All right?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just, short notice, just rushed in, had some food. That's how we do it.
Just got in from a run, hadn't you, mate? You just got in from a run and then was like, right, time to talk.
The hard work. That's what it's about.
Yeah, it pays off, bro. Trust it pays off. Yeah, so Andrea's joining us as well. So he'll be with us shortly. And I've sent Lloyd a message, but I've not heard anything back. So we might get some people coming in a little bit later on. But loads I want us to cover. Tyler Adams, Chelsea, if that's going to happen. Brandon Williams, who's previously worked with Daniel Farke at Norwich. That's come from a reputable source, and the Independent, Miguel Delaney. So that looks like it could have legs. I'd argue it's probably a cheap one. It's probably a loan. You know, it's one that could get done. We're going to talk about Dean Garner, whether or not we need him, if indeed we are genuinely linked to him. Cresswell getting a new deal. I know we have a group chat and we were bouncing earlier on when that got announced. And I was I spent a couple of hours trying to put together a TikTok. If you've been not my TikToks, my YouTube short. If you've been watching them, folks, let me know. They're taking a lot of time and I'm enjoying doing them. The one earlier I was well impressed with. I can't lie. We're getting better. Yeah, and I think I'll tell you what else I want to talk about as well, mate. I can see Andrea. I'll bring you in. Let's bring him in before we do. He's got a lovely shirt.
First of all, sorry for being late, but I was ready. But the cat did an absolute mess. And
oh, really?
What I'm alone at home, so just had to clear it, So sorry.
Oh well, let's hope there's no B tonight, mate. There's no B tonight. Because you've got no one to come and protect you. Do you know what I mean?
No worries.
All alone tonight, Andre.
Trust me. That B size was huge. It was huge. It was the biggest B I've ever seen. So really, it was like a monster from a horror movie. Trust me.
Yeah, big up to everyone giving love for those that have watched the shirts, the YouTube short. So thank you for that. And if we have enough time, what I want to talk about, because I've just been tagged in another championship prediction where Leeds United are not in the top 6. So it's like, how many times are we going to have to deal with this, right? So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. But before we touch on Brandon Williams, I just want to get your initial thoughts on the contract extension of Charlie Cresswell. 4-year deal. Lockie, you were absolutely bouncing when it got announced earlier on and watching the videos and whatnot, and it was a good little video. I like the little clip of him at Ellen Road putting on the number 5 shirt. Do you know what I mean? It looked really good, and it's hearing him talk as well. Like he said, I'm not here to make up the numbers. He's going to be challenging for a starting spot, right?
I think the contract says that. I think that's probably what he said he wants with his contract. He said he wants to be playing. Daniel Farke has obviously told him, look, you'll be in there if you perform as well as we know you can. I think the thing about Charlie Cresswell, we all know how good of a player he is. He's 20 years old still? He's 20 years old?
Yeah.
That is so young.
Yeah, it's 20.
And a player of his, I guess, potential. You look at the England squad, the 21s. He's only not getting in because the two in front of him are Colwell and Howard Bellis, who are in the Premier League. That's it. They're the only young English centre-backs better than him in the entire country. So, yeah, Charlie Cresswell as well. He's a Leeds lad. Well, he's from York, isn't he? But he's a Leeds fan. He gets it. He does. He wanted to play for Leeds. He still does. You can see that. He wants to do the best with Leeds. I imagine he had offers on the table from good sides, but he wants to do it with Leeds. He wants to be the number 5 at Leeds, and he is now. And I'm happy just to see a lad like that, a proper fan of the club, getting his chance. And now it's down to him to take it. And we all know his ability. We all know he can. I hope he does it. Yeah. It's one of them things as well. Like, you could easily lose a player like that because of how good he is. But we've got him now. He's ours.
Yeah.
And he'll be ready for the season. I can't wait. I really can't wait for him.
100%. You know, I remember, I think I've mentioned it to you guys before, but I remember being at an event a few years back now, and Andy Hughes was there, and he was talking about Cresswell being in the academy and how clubs like Man City and stuff had already tried to acquire him. And he'd said at the time, no, I'm staying at Leeds. And you could hear that in his interview as well, when he was saying, wherever I go out, we're all Leeds. My mates, all they talk about is Leeds. And he's just got that running through him. So, and Andrea...
Sorry,
go on, mate.
Really quick, sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to say, and look at Howard Bellis, who is obviously slightly above him, but I don't think there's much difference there. I really don't.
No.
Maybe just he's a bit older, Howard Bellis. I think he's 22, 21, isn't he? So a year in the Championship, which Cresswell had last year, he'll have learned a lot from that, best believe. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Under the right manager too, because of course they have a very different style of play at Millwall. So, like I said, to me, he's the best manager to work under for him, for his development, Farke, because he's worked with players like him before, Anley, Gibson, and that type of physical, strong, tall players. I think his passing needs to improve, and it will improve under Farke for me. You can see the difference. You will see the difference in the next months for me, because it surely is a clear statement, of intent. Also giving in the number 5 shirt too, which we know all know the importance of that. With like Joe said in the short, the Jack Charlton and the man I'm wearing the shirt tonight, like Rutter. So it's a good sign. It's a good sign too. The fact that with the first 2 signings were 2 top ones for the Championship, and contract renewal. The first one is from a young player, the product of the academy, a very rated one too. And it's also a fun fact, the fact that he's signed his contract extension weeks after his brother signed for his professional one for the academy.
He looks just like him as well.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's good. I'm quite excited about the future of having like Cresswell and Gray, these players that have deep rooted, I don't know what's the word I'm looking, but Leeds is deep rooted within connections, not just in them but in their families as well. Do you know what I mean? And I think, it can only be a positive, can't it? I think it's great, because I was worried for a period of time that maybe he could have potentially gone elsewhere, but he's stayed put. And like you said, Lockie, like Levi Colwill, let's be real. I know he's just signed a new deal at Chelsea, but imagine the money he's on. Imagine what Brighton would have paid for him had been a lot if Chelsea had let him be sold. So that's the kind of company he's in as well, right?
Yeah, and he's not. Obviously, I'm not saying he's better than them. Yeah, clearly they're further on, but he's not that far. It's maybe a year off it. This could be his year where he reaches that level. That's what I mean. They're the only 2 in his way. Howard Bellis and Colwell, and they're both brilliant defenders. So real. I think we're not going to really understand how good he can be until we see him. I think 20 years old he don't look it, but that's so young as well. That is really young.
No. Yeah, great to tie him down, as I say, and I think he'll have a brilliant season. I think we've already seen in pre-season there was a few occasions he's marauded up to the halfway line. So Struijk, it very much seems like we're going to have a proper defender and a ball-playing defender, if you like. You know what I mean? Who's going to come out with the ball, and Cresswell's going to be tasked with that at times, and that'll help him come on. Before we move on, I just want to shout out the Eagle Eye Football Podcast and my man Saeed TV as well. Big up to them. Other content creators, make sure you show love. Saeed says, give us 10 million for Brandon, top quality left back or right back. We will be talking about Brandon Williams. I think let's get straight into Brandon Williams then. So there's there's clear links there because Brandon Williams spent time on loan at Norwich with Daniel Farke. And like Saeed rightly says, I think he's right-footed, but he was played at left back under Farke, and he can also play at right back. It's quite interesting when you're considering bringing Byron back that he's also a right footer. I wonder if it's because he likes his left backs to be inverted and the right backs to push forward. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's why he likes Brandon Williams. Go on, Andrea.
Yeah, I agree because we've seen A-League too. He likes his fullback to underlap very often, not just sometimes they overlap. The center situation depends on specific parts of the game and the system, but I think the system works really well with the underlaps, and having inverted fullbacks is a good fit for that. You see also a player that has worked too at Norwich and the Farke, like Aaron's now for the England under-21s. He played. He's a natural right back, but he was transformed under Lee Carsley as a left back for England under-21. Honestly, it's a good player, Brandon Williams, for me, especially when he broke through under Solskjaer at Man United. I think he was a good youngster in that team. He wasn't bad. He was he could play in that team, honestly. Of course, not as a main character, like say if we were in a theater, like a main player. But when he was called upon, I think it was good. I think people have a different opinion on him sometimes because of the season he spent on loan at Norwich. And let's be real, that season the whole Norwich team was bad because they spent some money, unlike the previous season when they got relegated under Farke. They spent some money, but they brought in players who were not Premier League level. Norman, Pierre Lesmelu, Rashid says good, but he wasn't ready yet for the Premier League, like Theolis too. But if you look at the type of player, it makes perfect sense. And I think a few people were keen in observing the details because the details make the difference every time. When they saw Farke talking keenly and very closely with him after the game with in Oslo, versus Man United. So of course he's never played in the Championship, and honestly, I think it would be a very good signing for the team. Honestly, especially if we sign Byron, because we have two players who hopefully, if Byron stays fit this time, we have two proven players, and one younger and one experienced. Because there's no reason not to sign Byron right now as a squad player. Is reliable. If fit, it's really reliable for me.
Yeah. I think as well, right, as much as we dislike Man United as a football club, as an institution and all that jazz, they don't have a poor academy. You know what I mean?
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
But the class of 92, the real one was the one of Leeds. Remember that?
Yes. Well, that's coincidentally, mate. My ultimate team name is the real class of 92.
Great insight.
Yes. I mean, Lockie, they don't have a poor academy. For him to come through, okay, he's not maybe broke onto the scene as much as he would have wanted, but he's clearly a top player, and if he was to make a drop down to the Championship to play week in, week out at Leeds, it's sort of a no-brainer, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and on that academy, like, it's people like to hear this, but to make it a Man United academy, you have to be a certain type of person. You have to be extremely talented, but you have to set the standard of the club, right? This is weird. We're speaking good of Man United.
Yeah, because people are
they're
losing
extremely
this shit.
successful side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We can't deny that, but they're the facts of it. And he got through that. He made that break. He did. And then that 1920 season, when he plays, I know there's some Man United fans in here, I'd imagine, the guy you showed earlier. Yeah. Like he'd say, Man United fans were impressed with him then. And I think anyone watched it were like, who's this young guy here? I remember him putting hard tackles in. He's got a bit of passion about him. He's got all that side of it that Leeds fans like, based on where he's come from and what he's had to go through to get to this stage. So that always works. And Now, yeah, and when you look at his stats, he's never played in the Championship.
No.
So he's had two main real seasons, and they're both in the Premier League. Obviously, he's been kept around Man United because, as backup, because he's a capable option if needed. But last year, I think he had some injuries, unknown injury or something for a while. So I'm not sure what that's about. I think he lost something last year, obviously with stuff that went on online. I think it might be a good break for him to finally go to another team and release yourself from those pressures and not really understanding where your career is going. It can affect you a lot. Like Ampadu has done, he took that risk. He's now at Leeds. But as a player,
good example, this one. Very good example, this one.
Yeah. But as a player, I think in terms of attributes, a guy that's played under Daniel Farke in the Premier League, it is a no-brainer in that sense. And I'm not sure whether he'd be the type of person to be like, I'm not going to play for Leeds. The whole rant on City is that's a Manchester thing. Believe me, that is big here. They hate each other.
Well, he's got blonde there too, by the way, like Smith.
What you said?
But no, that you said that he's not the type of person that's gonna say I'm never gonna play for Leeds. Honestly, we've seen in the past also players who played from Man United that moved to Leeds. Pugh and
do you know what though as well?
Dan James.
Yeah. Do you know what as well? And people don't like to hear it, but Man United fans, Brandon Williams, for example, of a certain age, don't even really know about that Leeds United rivalry.
That's true. It's all about Liverpool and Man City.
Liverpool and City, and that's just the truth of it.
The young ones, because
they don't.
The young ones. Yeah.
Everywhere they go, when they go to on away games, they sing about Leeds too. So I think that if you look at the rivalry they have with City and Liverpool, they are different because of the history and the local rivalry. But the most heated one is still the Roses derby for me.
Having lived,
but from
even from their point of view,
having lived with Man United fans at uni, I can tell you they're not that bothered. The City Man United rival, Man City Man United rival is bigger, and Liverpool. They hate Liverpool, but I think he'd do it. I think he would. I don't think that'd be a question for him. I really don't.
Yeah, because of the age gap. But maybe people in their late 20s, from the 30s on, they still feel the rivalry, but the young ones, and I've never seen it apart from the recent games and the game from January 3rd and the one in the League Cup from 2 years later, was it? Yeah. So growing up,
on match days, it's different, right? When the fans come together, then. But
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Listen, at the end of the day, if he comes to the football club and is a success, I don't care where he's come from. We've had successful buys from there. Gordon Strachan, for example. McQueen obviously played for both clubs as well. We've also had some poor ones. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson, Scott Wotton, others come to mind. It is what it is. Once upon a time, especially in the 90s, you just wouldn't do business with either club. But that's changed now. Obviously, Smith happened. We all know that.
Shout out to my mate in the chat, Ben.
Oh, really? You see, a Man United fan.
Yeah. He's an all right one though. He's not bad. He's quite good. He did say he'd like to come to Ellen Road this year to watch Leeds, so I'm just going to put that out there.
Yeah. Just don't tell anyone you're a Man United fan. Yeah. 10 million then. That's his market value, folks. It doesn't look to have depreciated that much, to be honest, from when he first came onto the scene. He got his loan. According to Transfermarkt, his market value has remained around about 10 million. And I suppose you forget, he's still only 22, like Ampadu. So is 10 million that bad of a price? I wouldn't want to pay that outright. I'd want to pay, a little bit less rising, I suppose, like Ampadu. But what we're thinking, because the article that I read by Miguel Delaney, it's very much like Man United want permanent deals because they want cash in so that they can go and get the guy it's Amrabat at Fiorentina, isn't it? So they need money in the door. Do you think Leeds United will go for a permanent at 10, or will be looking with a loan, do you think?
I think that the right price is maybe 8, but dealing with Man United, I think they're going to stick with 10. there's no way to try to. It'd be a very difficult task to lower it down, especially because it's a part of their academy, and maybe they'll try to place a sell-on clause too in that one, because in the end they produced him from the academy, and they need to have a return on that. And honestly, there's a route for him at Man United in the future. No, there's no way he's gonna be the starting left back in 1 year, 2 years time. So makes sense for both parties to make it a permanent. Because honestly, I don't think they will look to loan him. Of course, if there's offers, they try to sell him. But after a loan, it'd be 0.0 camp base again next year, because he'll have players ahead of him, and they'll have to try to get another loan until the contract runs out in the end at Old Trafford.
Whatever the price is, like, obviously don't go silly with it. Anywhere over 10 million, you're looking there, you think, really? Especially when we got Ampadu for 7. But I think Daniel Farke, if he wants the guy, I say this for everything, it's such a boring answer. You know what I mean? If he believes that's the one, when he had him when he was younger, maybe he's developed then, obviously he will have. And he thinks he's the one for us, fine by me.
Yeah, you would think as well, Brandon Williams would probably fancy the move at this stage now, you know what I mean? Especially with the fact that they brought in Malacia, they've also got Shaw there. He's not going to break through anytime soon. Man United are on an upward trajectory, so you'd imagine, he's not going to get much game time there. So yeah, look, what would you say to Oren's put? Look, Brandon Williams is absolutely gash. What are we playing at? Can't believe this is happening, and don't care that he was with Farke at Norwich. What would you say to? Because I think that's very. I mean, I don't know how much you've seen of him to just say, off the bat that he's absolutely gash. But we also have to remember where we are as a football club. Like, who are you expecting we go and sign? That's what I'll always ask people. Like, give a different option then.
I think that's hard. Everyone's got their opinion. Like, we're not saying we're right; it's just our opinion, right? Yeah. But I don't think he is. I don't think there's anything that stands out to me that makes me think he's really bad. What is that? I think he's a decent tackler. He's good on the ball. He's got passion, heart, desire. People talking about is a right footer playing left back. I think he's good with both feet. I think that's one of his good traits. He's really good with both feet, and he's made his career doing that. So that's not an issue for him. 22 years old. I think if he was bad, he wouldn't still be at Man United. They've kept him around these last 2 or 3 years because they know if they need him, similar to Nat Phillips, I guess you could kind of say as well, if they need him, he can put a shift in. But obviously they've had Luke Shaw doing brilliant, so they've not had to put him in. Yeah, I don't know what that's based off. That's just me. I think he's good in the Championship. It's not Premier League as well. It's a Championship. You've got to remember that.
And it's bidimensional too, because you can do, like you said, you can do both phases very well. He can attack, but he can also defend well. He's also an aggressive player on the defensive end on his own half. And I think.
Do you know what I find funny, Andrea? It's like we have needed a left back. Then when you link to a left back, everyone goes, "Not that left back." Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man! Like, we've needed a left back now since Charlie Taylor bloody left. That's the facts.
Would people prefer Charlie Taylor? I'm curious on that.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Taylor or Williams? I'm going to ask the chat. I'm going to put a poll on that while we do. So let me just put that up. Brandon Williams, then, let's watch this space. As I say, it has come from a reputable source in terms of Miguel Delaney of the Independent. So one to watch for sure. But listen, what I will say, actually, there has been quite a few times that reputable sources have mentioned transfers to Leeds, i.e. Graham Smith, Glenn Kamara, Phil Hay, Nat Phillips, Fabrizio Romano, Mishu, Miguel Delaney, Brandon Williams. Do you know what I mean? What's happening? What is happening?
Just your football show, Ethan Ampadu.
Yeah.
We're one for one.
Yeah, we're the only ones that's right.
We're the most reliable source.
But what it is a little bit mad, isn't it? How silent they are.
I've got. Are they looking like is the secret targets we don't know about they're really trying to get. Like we learned about Lewis the other day, who they went in for, which is at City, which is nuts because he's incredibly good. But I don't know. I think they're playing that make sure they're 1000% the right option first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think they're just gonna like. And this is not disrespect to Leicester. Just for example, say, Connor Cody's able to get in. Right, I don't think we're going to do that. Yeah. I'm not saying Connor Cody's wrong, by the way. I'm just saying
he is. He definitely is. I'll say it.
I'm not playing that game tonight.
Where is Locks? Where is Locks?
Locks will be watching. He'll be watching somewhere.
I'm not saying that. But I think I know it's it's annoying, but I do think we'll get a few of them names in. I just think they're waiting. Is there another thing? A few players in the Premier League sides that we're waiting for to come available potentially that are currently with them. I think it's going to. Yeah, I think we'll see slowly if they're the names. We'll see, guys.
Yeah, I agree, Lucky, because like I said on the other night on the final word, I'm confident that in August.
This is true. This is true, though. This is true. Your humor is underrated.
Thank you. I appreciate it. No, I'm just gonna say that, like I said on the final word, I'm confident that if at the end of August or during the start of the season in August, or just like. Farke says, we have gaps in certain position. They will go and pick a player they have, and they will spend to get him here. And I'm confident about that because they want to leave positions open for me. So there's people saying that maybe we won't get a 10 or attacking midfielder. I think they will get one too because Parag said that they're gonna give Farke all the tools. The transfer window is open till the end of August, and we don't know if certain players with all the long clauses and release clauses will stay. So it depends also on that situation, because if a player leaves mid-August, you have to cover a position that you didn't plan to cover because you had that player in that position, and you have to change your plans and cover in that position too. But that's why for me, they, like you said, they are covering with their top option, because Darlow and Ampadu were the two top picks in that role for them. And they're doing exactly that. Honestly, of course, it can be annoying sometimes or frustrating because
I told you you'd be watching, didn't I? Trust me.
No, they can be annoying sometimes, of course, because as fans, we want to see signings and new faces, especially after last season, because we lost some players that we weren't quite familiar or happy with them, about their attitude. I didn't see a single comment positive about the players who left the club right now. So it feels like a new start, a fresh air. We want to see new players with the right attitude coming in, but sometimes we just have to be patient, because we still need to consider that maybe Gnonto may leave, maybe Sam will leave. Also today, there was also a link about Rutter having a verbal agreement. Verbal agreement, maybe with Orta. You
can stick your verbal agreement up your ass.
Orta's not picking that phone up, is he?
No, look, this is it here. Hoffenheim and Freiburg are interested in Rutter. The striker had a verbal agreement, meaning he could leave on loan. Well, that verbal agreement has gone because apparently it was with Victor Orta. So get in the bin. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure I quite agree with that, because Rutter's look quite happy around the place.
I think Farke will be like, he's going to play him. I think he believes in him. I think he's trying to. I think he clearly knows that there's obviously a really talented footballer in there. He's slowly, patiently going to work to try and get that guy out of him. And whether I know I said player of the season, obviously I'm just being a bit rogue, but he might not even play. But you know what I mean? There's definitely a player in there. It might take 3 or 4 months to get him really out. We don't know, but he clearly likes him. So I think that's all rubbish, to be honest.
It's difficult to play, honestly, a young lad with a price tag of 35 million
100%
on his head. So especially in a new country, speaks, and now he's improving. But when he arrived in January, he spoke very little English, and he had to settle in just with Melia, because they both speak French. And honestly, he arrived with this is the striker that is going to save us, but he's not a striker. So of course, people expect him to perform straight away. But for me, I repeat it again, he's not a striker, and because he doesn't have the movements of a striker. Of course, he has a good shot. If you look at a good shooting ability, if you look at his goals when he was with Hoffenheim, some of them started from he started from the wing and got central and shoot from there. You know, but he has a good shooting ability, but it doesn't make you a striker a good shooting ability. You have to also contribute to the team in terms of movements, and he still doesn't have those movements. You need to learn them if he has to play like a number 9. But for me, and also Farke said it, is more like a winger in terms of positioning. And right now, the only problem is that the other wings that we have, for me, are better than him. If we'll have to try him on the wing. So the only other option is trying him into a more central position, like not a number 10, but a second striker. And we don't play with a second striker, unfortunately. So it's like in the purgatory, you know, in the middle, like between heaven and hell, you know, like to quote Dante, you know.
He's a strange player, is Rutter, because the season before we got him, he's got 8 goals and 15 starts in the Bundesliga as 18-year-old, 19-year-old. And at that point, his stock was ridiculously high. He had a bit of a mixed match starts the other season where he scored a beautiful goal, didn't he? We all saw that goal he scored. But clear ability. It's just everything else around letting that ability free in a way that's effective for Leeds United. And I think we're seeing more of it in times in games, and he does look happier. That is a good thing. He does look a lot happier. But that's going to take time. We're forgetting he's as young as Nonto. He's as young as all these guys. You know, we're talking about Charlie Cresswell. It's the same age. You know, it's tough for him, and but he has got to adapt. He's got to learn quick because we need him. So but he's a process.
And I think, like Andrea said about you coming to a brand new country and you're told you are the striker, you're the one who's going to keep us in the league. And then you've got your managers in press conferences saying he's not a striker. And then when it goes tits up, that's when I sort of backed Big Sam. I was like, right, he's going to try get something. And then when he played in that game after saying he's not ready, I just thought, what's that doing for anybody? Like it was the one time I remember Bielsa using Izzy Brown for 5 minutes in the game, and I just thought, what the fuck are you doing? But that was literally, I'm running out of ideas here, just throw him in the mix. That was the one time I looked at Bielsa and thought,
I think we need to be a little bit, like we said, we've got numbers on the wing. So whether he's going to be used more as a striker until we get that striker, which I still think we do, we need to be a little patient with him. But I think once it clicks, and I think it will, I genuinely do, it'll take time, but once it clicks, I think he'll be phenomenal. Not phenomenal, like really good. Phenomenal's a bit too much, but very good. That's his ceiling for me.
Yeah. Shane, I swear, Shane, were you the guy that emailed me, Shane? Sorry, I've just been mad busy. But listen, thank you so much for your kind words. And I know this is a great community that we have created. And it's just class. So thank you for watching. Means a lot. All right, so big up to you, mate. Lox is on a mad one, and he complimenting.
It's a big community. We accept every kind of fan, also Leicester fans in this community.
100%. Yeah,
I'm joking.
Look at this. What a beautiful head of hair he has. Puts Joe to shame.
Thank you.
Well, you'll be happy to know, Lox, that Andrea's dad is also bald, so he will look like this in a few years. We found this out yesterday. What do you mean? No, what's wrong with this?
No, hopefully I took my hair by my maternal side of the family. Hopefully, because hopefully.
Let's hope so. Right, okay. So we've done Williams. Will Williams be permanent? Says Raizoni. I'd imagine so. I think Man United want to get rid. Yeah. The mad thing is, just looking at the poll now, it's literally neck and neck. Taylor 51%, Williams 49%. It keeps changing. So that's what I don't understand, though, right? It's like everyone before, when I asked about Taylor, everyone was dead against it. So I don't understand why they want Taylor over Williams. It's mad. It's mad. Exactly, David. Bald is beautiful, mate. Don't worry about that. Okay, so Grady Dean Garner. We were mocking Locks and Leicester yesterday, and then it got reported that apparently Leeds, along with the Saudi club, might be looking at him. The only way, and it's the same with that other guy, the other guy who was playing in Belgium. I forgot his name, the young winger. Do you remember what his name is? I can't remember it.
No, played for Anderlecht, didn't he?
Yeah, Anderlecht. It was reported in
Anderlecht.
Volt Ball. Young winger. Someone will know in the chat.
Anderlecht lucky, yeah.
Anderlecht winger. Someone let me know in the chat.
I searched Anderlecht Leeds for one in the Champions League.
Yes.
Amuzu, yeah.
Amuzu, that was it. Amuzu.
No alarm with Club Bruges.
Yeah. Amuzu. So the only way
is moved to PS.
Yeah, he's moved now, hasn't he? Yeah. The only way I see as being genuinely linked to a Diangana or a Amuzu is if we lose one of our wingers. But even still, even if we were to lose one or two, I still think we have enough. And I'm not going to do an about turn now and say Diangana's good, because I don't think he is. I remember when he got I think he was at West Ham, he got a loan to West Brom, then he made the loan permanent. Flat as to deceive for me, Grady Diangana. So I don't want that. I don't know what you folks think.
Yeah, I agree. Honestly, when we sign players, I try to look for the long term, you know. And honestly, how many years of contract will I give to Diangana? 1. Because I don't think he's a long-term player. So he's technically good, but I remember seeing him scoring for West Brom versus Birmingham, I think, or was it Grant, or one of the two? But yeah, he playing that game. He's a good player, but honestly, I think that once the system is always playing much wide. So I don't honestly. I think there's better. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but honestly, it's not my type of player of the wing. I think there's better out there. You know.
Yeah.
For me,
I think we're blessed with good Championship wingers, aren't we? Well, we're blessed with all right Premier League wingers. To be fair, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So
it's quite interesting you say that, mate, because when I was on the pod earlier on with Crystal Palace fan, there's a lot of links apparently for Somerville and Nanto potentially going to Palace. There's a lot of chat on their side. I think I've seen Somerville link once. I haven't seen the Nanto stuff, but there seems to be a lot of links over there. And listen, I don't think that'd be a bad move for them, to be honest. If they were to move, I don't think Palace, because if you look at Palace, it's conceivable that they could lose Elise and Eze in this window. Apparently, City are looking at Elise, so they could genuinely look at someone like Somerville or Nanto to make that step up. And that's what I'm talking about with levels, like you were saying, Lockie. There's not a chance that Palace are looking at bloody Diangana, are they? Do you know what I mean? So
no, that's right. And so you've got them two, and let's be honest, Nanto's not starting for Leeds at the weekend, given performances. Sinistera, I know we keep talking about him, but and Dan James has been doing well pre-season. We don't even talk about Jack Harrison, who's injured. Like, we've still got him; he's still here as well. Like, our wingers is ridiculous. If we had quality everywhere else, not just on the wing, we'd still be in the Premier League. But we bought about 15 wingers, didn't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Diangana. I really liked him when he was it the 18-19 season?
Yeah.
I thought he was really good then. That's probably one of when we were in the Championship, I think, the year we went up. Yeah, really good player, but he just seemed to have fallen off a cliff and lost something in his performance that made him the player he was. So, yeah, I just think as a winger, for us, because what we've got, even if we lose, like you said, 2 of them, we've still got some really good options there. I don't see it personally.
And if we get the striker, imagine Rutter will also play out there as well. So... James, Cini
as well.
There's loads.
That's what I mean. So, are we happy in the knowledge that Diangana, the other fella as well? It's not happening. We're not after a winger. Not
unless we lose 3 or 4. No.
If you lose Gnonto, for example, to Palace, try to get a good sum plus Raksaki, for example. That might be
the player on the. On the scouting report, right?
Yeah, exactly. But look, I disagree. Honestly, Gnonto, because I think even if I don't consider him a striker, I think he'll start as a striker. And if he's still here on
Cardiff,
against Cardiff,
yeah,
I think he's if he's available, if he's still here, I think they'll try to start him.
Do you think?
Yeah,
I don't.
I think Bamford's not injured, right? I thought he was all right. Someone saw him.
If Bamford's not injured, Bamford is gonna start. The only way Gnonto is starting is if all the other strikers are injured, then you have to play him there as a number 9 for me.
Yeah,
the only option.
I was just going on. Bamford was fine. That's all. I thought he was all right.
What we'll do on. So what we're going to do, folks, with the late night Leeds crew, the evening before every game, we're going to do around about 9 o'clock when everyone's like getting buzzing for the game. We'll do like a big match preview. So we'll pick our lineup as well on Saturday evening and use a lineup predictor and have a look and talk about the tactics and etc. etc. Maybe do a little prediction in terms of first goal scorer and score prediction, and we can run a little table before each game every week. Hopefully Lloyd will be with us as well during that as well. Before we move on, one of our biggest rivals, obviously Leicester City. Locks mentioned a few weeks ago about Casadei. I mentioned that you were a big fan of his. Can you just talk to us about Casadei? Because I know you're a bit gutted that he looks like he could be on his way to Leicester, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. The Maresca has asked for him for his for his loan from Chelsea, but there's also linked to Italian clubs. But honestly, Chelsea too, they'll need to loan him to a club in England. Honestly, it would be a downgrade to move to Italy, even if it's his first year. If you look at how slow the market is moving in Italy, despite having a team in every European final last season, the league is moving backwards this season because all the good players are moving abroad. But yeah, like Casadei, I'm a really big fan. I think, like I said, it should have moved to a championship club because the next level for him is after playing for a mid-lower championship team. Reading got relegated, of course. Need to follow the footstep of Conor Gallagher. Of course, it's from Chelsea too. Charlton, Swansea, and of course, from a mid-lower, and then the next step is a lower Premier League team, like West Brom. So yeah, he's brilliant. He's just brilliant. He has a great World Cup under-20 in Argentina. He's tall, strong, and yeah, he has really a lot of potential to be one of the great players this season if he moves to the Championship. Because the kid can do everything basically. He can play in various positions. He can be an attacking midfielder. He can be a defensive midfielder. He has a good shooting technique too. He's very good to restart the action, especially recovering the ball from the back, because he's very strong physically and carrying it through the pitch. But he's also good off the ball, especially on free kicks and corners. He scored 2 or 3 others at the World Cup for the under-20s. He reminds me a little bit. Of course, the physicality is different, but the type of football is similar to Stevie G, for example, in terms of how he plays, how his type of football. But yeah, I think it can be one of the top players if he moves to Leicester. Unfortunately, we would have been really happy to see him at Leeds. To be fair, yeah. Honestly, imagine, for example, Ampadu or Casadei, or even Ampadu, Adams, and Casadei in front of them, because Casadei can do both phases. He can easily be, even if it's not his main position, he can easily be a number 10 because he starts behind the strikers and drops back in defense, making a midfield 3 and then a 3 and then sprinting forward again. It's a box-to-box, very good one. Yeah, it can easily be one. Surely he'll have a cap for Italy, if not this year, probably this year for me. In the next qualifiers, probably. But if not this year, next year, surely he will have his first cap for Italy. Trust me.
I love this. Locks has said, okay, so basically Leicester are signing Steven Gerrard. Thanks, mate.
It'll go well with the lad that got compared to Mbappe that they signed the other day.
Yeah, oh my God, what was it? The dribbling skills of Mbappe, the low center of gravity of Messi, the whatever. It was like three things that he was basically the GOAT. You know what I mean?
Ever.
Yeah, the only problem, because I've seen Jim Housen comment, because they will not work at Leicester, I promise, one team or league. Honestly, he might be a player for that system, but the real problem for Leicester for me is that Maresca plays a very specific style of football. And okay, Casadei is good for that, but some of the other players they have in their starting 11 can't play that type of football. Trust me. You need to bring in.
Don't mate, you'll trigger Locks. Trust me, you will trigger Locks, man. I'm telling you, he'll come for you. Don't.
Mavididi is a little bit, there's too much higher opinion of him. Honestly, he was at Juve and didn't break into the first team. He played for the under-23s in the third tier of Italian football, then moved to France. I think he needs to prove himself in England. He's not a top player in England yet. He needs to develop and prove himself. Mavididi.
100%. Who's got the bird?
Oh, it's mine probably.
Yeah,
I forgot because of the cat. Yeah,
no, it's fine. I was going to say to you, like, you've got a bird and a cat. That's like madness,
they can't interact because the bird, of course, is usually outside. But in the heat of the moment with the cat spilling all the water down, I forgot to bring it outside again.
The cat will be sat there like him.
No.
Just yeah, man, love it. Right, okay. So
maybe you go on with a bit and I move the bird. Okay.
Yeah, go on if you want. You don't need to. It's cool. Okay, no worries. He's fuming with Budgie.
Swearing at it now.
I know. My mate used to have an African grey, right? And they used to have a water bottle. I mean, this is RSPCA tackled this probably. But they used to have a squeezy water bottle at the side, right, of his dad's chair. Yeah. So if they were watching a film or something and it'd got, because African greys can speak pretty well, you know what I mean? Right, and sometimes it'd go on its head. So as soon as you went like that to go get the squeezy water bottle, like a flash bottle, but it was just it shut up. It's
like Dre's doing his game, forget he's going. I'm telling you,
as soon as you went like that, they just knew. Yeah, but the brilliant African greys, to be fair, I would have one again. There you go. Locks has got one. What's it called? Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy. I can imagine something like that. Anyway. Yeah, so let's chat. I tell you what, let's chat about this, mate. The annoyance that we've keep having in our group chats, right? About all these other championship content creators, right? Having Leeds United outside of the top six. Like, what? Why? Why do you think it is? What is it they're underestimating us for? Is it because they hate us? And I don't know. What's going on, man?
One thing they're all doing is overestimating the players we've lost. All I'm hearing is they've lost these top players. I said something the other day, and respect to Tyler Roberts. Honestly, I have no dislike for Tyler Roberts. But they said he was second on the list. Well, they've lost this. They lost Tyler Roberts. I'm going, he wasn't going to play. He wasn't. Like Llorente, they were saying Llorente who didn't play for us last year. It's all a bit mad. Obviously, some of it's agendas, let's be honest. We're all saying we're winning a league. Obviously, that's an agenda. We believe in our side. But a lot of it is they're overestimating the players we've lost. They're not remembering the players we've got back from loan who had good championship seasons last year. Yeah. And they're not looking other sides. Locks will tell you, Leicester have lost a lot of decent players too. They've invested in others, obviously, but they've lost a lot of good players. Southampton are losing their players right now. And they're underestimating Daniel Farke for me. He's won the league twice in the last 6 years. With a side, especially the first side he won the league with, was not as good as ours now. I genuinely don't believe that. And the league in that year he won it was really strong. That was Bielsa's first season. That was the Derby, wasn't it? That was Aston Villa, Sheffield United. He came out on top of all that. I think it's
true.
A lot of it is agendas. A lot of them are not looking deeper into it, which is fine. You know, we've not lost any players for me that worry me in the sense, oh no, we needed him badly. Maybe Rodrigo. I love Rodrigo in the Championship. Don't get me wrong, but we're likely to replace him. I think, and we've lost them for fees. We've not lost them for fees. I don't think that necessarily matters that much in terms of investing. You know, I don't know. It's weird. It is weird. But they're underestimating the manager and they're overestimating the players we've lost for me. And not talking about the loan players we've got in who are like new signings.
Yeah. And I think we're in for some surprises because, for example, Shackleton, I wasn't sure it was going to stay at the beginning of the season before Farke took over. And I think everyone can agree that we didn't consider him a part of the squad. We would have he would have been out on loan again and probably sold permanently. But you see how in a short amount of time, just pre-season, he's been transforming and adapting well, like he did with Bielsa, to the position he played in. And I think he surely stays because I think Farke really likes him because he's a utility player. And of course, his technique is not his best fit. But if you look at his contribution off the ball, pressing, aggression, can fill in various positions in the end. I think, especially because of his mentality and attitude, he stay around in the squad. It can be an option for bench, like he was under Bielsa. Because honestly, it's already early signs. But and I'm not gonna say about results, but in terms of management and development of certain players and fitness too, because Ayling, Manford, for example, look fitter, and they are suited by this style of football. And this style of football has a lot of similarity to Bielsa one. Probably is more balanced than what we were used under Bielsa. There's more balance and defensively. And because
that squad was definitely less talented than this one, wasn't it? I think it's fair to say.
Absolutely. And about Norwich, to be fair, I agree. They didn't have the best squad that season, yet they won the league. And remember that Farke was just in his second season, and the season before they finished 13. The pre-season.
Just talking about that, and I've said this before as well. The Championship's not what it once was, right? And Lockie made a great point because that year that Farke won the league, by the way, it had a Sheffield United team that were managed by Chris Wilder, and they were doing bits. They were good, you know.
Yeah, very good.
You had us managed by Bielsa, You then had Aston Villa that had the likes of Tammy Abraham leading their line, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? You also had Derby that had Champions League winner Mason Mount in their team, alongside the likes of Harry Wilson and Tomori, who's now at AC Milan. This is the levels then when he won the league. The division now, and it's not comparable. And the reason I'll tell you for why is last season, Joe Gelhardt played in the playoff semi-final for Sunderland.
Yeah.
He's not a starter in our side. Yeah. Cody Drama's team were promoted through the playoffs, and he was one of their better players. And this is the point. These are two players that are not guaranteed starting spots in our squad. This is why I think it's so disrespectful to just go, oh yeah, Leeds, yeah, nah. For me, it's nowhere comparable to the seasons we were in it previously.
No, I completely agree. I don't think even like Dan James, he wasn't he was in the Premier League on loan, but he wasn't great. But he's a tool in the Championship. For me, any top 10 side in the Championship would love Dan James to play for them. They genuinely would. And people underrate him because his technique's not the greatest, but he can be effective with the right coach, 100%. And like you said, Cody Drama, whatever Luke Ayling's playing over him. I'm sorry, people that don't want that. He is. Right now, Luke Ayling is starting over Cody Drama for me. He's proven it more. I think he's been fine pre-season. I don't think he's been one of the worst players in any game. I think he's been one of the most consistent, actually. So, yeah, I think that's what we might have different. I don't know deep knowledge of Southampton and Leicester. Locks will have to let me know, but I'm pretty sure we have the higher caliber of loan players coming back in compared to what they have.
Teller at Southampton, they've kept hold of him, haven't they?
Yeah.
But they've kept hold of him.
And then we've got these young players, and again, I don't know about their academies, but I know we've got some top. Look at Charlie Cresswell, a top young player, who was also on loan in the Championship last year.
Saints have a good one, Ballard.
Yeah. Edozie is really good. I like Edozie.
Edozie too. Yeah.
But again, not got that experience yet, have they? Edozie's very raw still. Charlie Cresswell's got it. These are the players they're not talking about. And they're talking about our strongest players. And I've seen people naming like Patrick Bamford and Jack Harrison, for example. The ones everyone knows. They're not talking about the Somervilles, the Sinisteras, the Ampadus who have just signed, who's a phenomenal signing in the Championship, by the way. People are just looking at him and going, 3 relegations, man, he's all right. No. 3 relegations, but he's arguably been one of the better players in the side, playing out.
That's mental, That's mental, that. It's still a mental take, because people saying we should have bought Ampadu because he got relegated three seasons straight, for 3 consecutive seasons. Was it just his fault? Just for him, they were relegated just because
Ramsdale did it, didn't he?
Yeah, true, he did. And
someone mentioned Paveda in the chat. True. We don't know what we could get from him.
The only thing is that, of course, the level of players is not as good as it was, because you mentioned them, Joe. Abraham, Grealish, McGinn, Mount, Wilson, Tomori, even in our squad, of course, Calvin, and other players who did well in the Premier League before the 2 recent season. But there's still a lot of uncertainty because there's less money spent because the level of players is not as good as it was, but the other clubs and us too are spending well the money for me. Because even if you look at the squad of Norwich, Hull, Middlesbrough, Coventry, they are building very good squad, and especially look at the signing of Van Ewijk from Coventry, the right back, lucky.
Been beaten 4-0 tonight by Nuneaton, I think.
Coventry. Imagine that with Leeds.
Leroy Lita scored.
I remember him.
Leroy Lita scored.
But there are very, very good sides for me, and there's still unpredictability. I think people are a little bit overrating Birmingham for me, and also Cardiff is not that bad for me. They won't avoid relegation easily for me. But the level, the money is well spent for me. I honestly see Norwich, to be fair, especially with a coach like when a manager like David Wagner, who's got promoted with Huddersfield. I think they can do what Farke did with them, honestly, to be fair. Maybe they lose Arons, but if you look at the back, they've brought in Stacey from Bournemouth. They have still Gibson, Hanley, and their midfield is very good to me. Marcelinho, Nunez, Sara, and they have various options they just brought in Fastnack too from Young Boys. There are other clubs who don't have, of course, a big spending squad in terms of salaries, but they have spent well their money for me. So it will be a good watch. The Championship is always unpredictable.
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be close. I genuinely don't think there's a runaway side. I know lots will disagree, but from what Pep's really good at creating coaches, he is. And if he's learned under Pep Maresca, obviously he's going to make him a better coach, 100%. Anyone would. But I still think Arteta, we saw, is a good example. It took time. It takes time to get the right players and the right squad under these very advanced systems, because they are very advanced. They're hard to play. And they're like that. That's why there's so little coaches that play like that, because it's very, very difficult to pull off. And I just think it'll take more time. I actually agree with Andre. I'm looking at Southampton now, and I think they're building a real good squad there. I think it's going to be good this season. I don't think there's a runaway. I think it's going to be a good season, but ultimately, I think we'll win it.
Yeah,
I don't like to play. I don't like teams that will play with 3 at the back. Honestly, in the Championship, because Maresca will play with 3 at the back, and it didn't work well at Parma when he played with 3 at the back. To be fair, so we'll see. But I think it's more suited for the English game, Maresca, but it's still a long shot. You have a different amount of pressure. Of course, Parma is an historical club in Italy. they have a good history in the past. They were in Serie A for a huge amount of season actually. But doing it in the Championship at the club like Leicester, who won the league in 2016, honestly. So fans are really demanding, expecting like Locks, for example. And
he's got to get off to a good start. He's got to get off to a good start, I think.
When he left Parma, he said he needed more time, didn't he, Andre? He said he needed more time. Like, it's going to need time.
Yeah, true. He definitely will need that. Right, we've done an hour. Listen, we've honestly great numbers tonight. A little impromptu stream. We've been up at 850, 800 and odd. So big up to you all. I'm gonna drop an opposition preview tomorrow. That's already pre-recorded, so that'll probably be around about lunchtime. And then at 8 o'clock tomorrow night, folks, it's the return of the not West Yorkshire, the White Rose Rivals, where we'll be making predictions just of our games and sort of do a prediction league on that. So make sure you join us for that as well. Obviously, if there's any transfer rumours, we'll chat about them as well. What day? Honestly, it's all mad, isn't it? Thursday. Yeah, it's just gonna.
I got a ticket as well this afternoon.
Oh, happy days, mate.
So I'm going. Can't wait.
Good times. Before we finish though, I just thought I'd leave you with this because I think this is brilliant. I don't know if people actually got to see this yet, but 1 second. Why won't it let me move it up? You just click on the tweet itself. Why is it not working? Just 1 minute. Sorry, this is making for great TV, this, isn't it?
I'm thinking, do I say something to keep the conversation going?
Yeah, keep it. I've got it. Right, okay. So, I don't know if folks got to see Max Vober's shots of him in his Mönchengladbach top. As you can see there, just proudly pointing at the badge, and someone kindly doctored it and changed it to that, which which I thought was quite cool. So yeah,
as you sign for Grimsby.
No, yeah, it does
look
like it, but yeah, great stuff. Listen, everyone, smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to put your notifications on. There will be a watch along on Friday as well for the opening championship game, which is Sheff Wednesday versus Southampton. Looking forward to that. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out Lockie Leeds. Ben, is any videos dropping?
Hopefully, well, I want to do some player stuff, Joe, but it's taking a while. So I'll do some pre-season stuff. Yeah, just all about pre-season and what to expect in the season.
Yeah, definitely. And Andrea, what's going on in Italy?
It's all good. It's all still boiling, but yeah, I can't wait for the start of the season because here the leagues, the Italian leagues start later. The Italian Cup starts on Sunday, but it's just the preliminary round. So I can't wait to watch some good English football because if trust me, if you watch a Serie A game after 10 minutes and you watch after 10 minutes a Premier League match, it's like watching a different sport. Trust me, really. The level has fallen down. And actually, people still saying that I need some sun. Yeah, okay, but is the light, the color of the light?
Yes.
It's a white light. It's like that. That's why. See. Joking.
Yeah. Who? I've said this to Locks, right? Just because he's still here in the chat. I think they get beaten, by Coventry on the opening day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it's the first
race, but it's from Sims.
Yeah. Just because it's the first. I think Sheff Wednesday are going down, me personally. So I think Southampton will win that. But I think they'll struggle. I think they'll struggle because it's the first game. It's the first game, and Coventry have been there, done it, wore the t-shirt, so they'll be chomping at the bit.
It's also a Midlands derby too, so of course you can expect a great turnout at the Leicester Prayer Home, or the prayer.
I'll tell you something though, if they do lose, Locks, turn off your phone, son.
You know what? The good thing about Leicester, actually, they have a great goal song, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. Goal music, is it?
Yep.
Yeah, everyone loves a bit of goal music.
To be honest, whilst in the Coventry pre-season, they've not looked great until Gustavo Haber gets a hold of the game. Until then,
Chris, you absolute legend. What a guy. Thank you very much, Chris, for the super chat, super sticker. I wish it would transfer so we could see what your super sticker is, but that's amazing. So thank you so much, mate. That means an awful lot. Big up to you. Big up to you. Big up to everyone in the chat, and of course, big up to these amazing content creators as well, Andrea Russo and Ben Locky Locks. And we will see you all very soon. Yeah. What did you say, bro?
And my shadow, yeah.
Yes. I don't know what that guy is. He doesn't look like you. Anyway, peace out, folks, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.